If you feel like you've made no progress lately, if you feel like you're stuck and you're plateauing, then this video is for you, because I'm gonna break down 3 strategies for you that will help you overcome this plateau and feel like you're making progress again. Now, as a music producer, as an artist, first of all, it's quite normal to get stuck sometimes, to feel like you're plateauing, to feel like you make no progress. And the first thing I want to say before diving into these strategies is that practicing self-compassion in these times is one of the best things you can do. So this is generally something that helps any artist. And if you are in this for the long run, self-compassion and practicing self-kindness is one of the most important things you need to implement. So that being said, let's dive into the first strategy that I want to give you. So the first strategy is to switch up your workflow. Now, this can come in many forms. You could go as far as to switch your DAW. Work in a different DAW. So if you're used to working in Ableton, it might be very cool for you to jump into something like Cubase or Bitwig or any other DAW that has a different workflow, because this gives you a different perspective on music production. It makes for different ideas that you come up with, it has a different arrangement method, and so on and so forth. So all of the little pieces of the production process suddenly are in a different perspective, in a different light, and you can switch things up and use this to infuse new creativity, and suddenly you feel like you made progress again. On a smaller scale, this could mean you could switch up your workflow or optimize your workflow so you make music more intuitively. So maybe you're the kind of person that's clicking around all the time and using your mouse way too often. So it could be a good time to learn a bunch of shortcuts and just get more intuitive and quicker with your program. And suddenly you feel like you're making massive progress because you get a lot more stuff done in a very short amount of time because your production style got more efficient. And then the last workflow tip that I want to give you here is to switch things up. If you, for example, work all the time just in the DAW and just digitally, maybe you have a little sound box like a Korg Volca or some other little beat machine or mini synth lying around that you haven't used in a while. Go use that again. Use your hands and do something with those knobs and try to record music on the fly. If you have a guitar lying around or a piano standing around, start composing things on that, record these things, use them in your projects, and suddenly this will spawn creativity and give you new ideas. Now, you don't have to invest in a super expensive modular setup to follow this idea. So this is not an episode that preaches you to buy a ton of gear and that will make you happy. But if you just spend 50 to 150 bucks on a little sound machine, I think that's well invested if you feel like you're making no progress at the moment. But then there's also the possibility of going the other way around. So if you always use analog machines and you record this to make your sounds, you might switch your workflow up in the opposite direction and, for example, learn how to program a Max MSP patch or a Reactor patch in the Native Instruments environment. So these things, going from analog to digital and the other way around, could also help you feel like you're making new progress. Okay, that's it for the workflow. Let's come to the second strategy, and that is collaboration. I think collaboration is such an underused method when it comes to this getting stuck, plateauing feeling. Because collaboration forces you to find out what the other person's workflow is, and you will automatically absorb a ton of things and learn what they are doing differently. So this will give you a whole different perspective on music production. They will come up with different ideas in a different way, and this can sometimes be really beneficial for your overall skill set. And then the last strategy is to learn something new, and not just anything new. You learn something new that feels scary. So for example, you feel like you're stuck, you don't make much progress. Yes, you could buy a ton of new plugins and use them, but that's not what I mean with learning something new. But actually going into a whole different style of synthesis, for example, that you haven't even tackled so far, this can help you, give you the feeling of making a lot of progress suddenly. So for example, FM synthesis can become quite complex, and a lot of people are scared by that. A lot of people stick with the typical subtractive synthesis or with wavetable synths, but FM synthesis, it's really hard to get to a good sound without actually knowing what's going on there. So get away from those presets and start learning something like FM synthesis, and suddenly you will be at a very, very deep level with something that you were scared to tackle. So that can be a really good strategy. So let me know in the comments below what you think about these strategies and what are your own strategies also that you use to overcome plateaus and to challenge yourself and to feel like you're making progress again. And also, if you have any suggestions on topics that you want me to cover in these videos, let me know in the comments as well, and I will get to them most likely. So that is it for this one. See you in the next one. Bye bye.